The street won't figure this out for a while, but your Tesla stock just got more valuable for two reasons, and I'll explain those in a minute. Data centers in space is the latest thing that everybody needs to become an expert about, and there's already a lot of folks out there that think they're experts. I've got some amazing posts and some articles from X today, also some other articles. But nothing is better than Brian Wang. And we did a video last night that if you haven't seen it, I'll put that card up later. More and more data is pointing to a huge 2026 for Tesla and also for the economy and for markets. Trump economics are having exactly the effect they are intended to have. And we'll have at least two stories on that. Oracle's shocking numbers, nobody was expecting them, have put a little bit of a damper on tech stocks so far today. Will we get a Santa Claus rally? Well, Tom Lee reiterated his prediction for a very strong end, and I'll go over the six reasons he believes that we have a super big chance of a big increase in the S&P by year end. Okay, here we go. Elon Musk says this. He says SpaceX has way more satellites in orbit than the rest of the world combined. So maybe we know a thing or two about the subject with a laughing emoji. Starlink V3 will be 20 kilowatts and it'll be launched at scale around Q4 next year. No problem to scale that to 100 kilowatts if the satellite mass is shifted towards solar arrays and radiators for AI compute instead of giant phased array antennas for internet connectivity. So this is exactly what Brian was talking about last night. Apparently, Elon in another place said he could even get it to 150 kilowatts. As you mentioned, and he's referring to the article that he's responding to. As you mentioned, it would use the same laser comm system as Starlink to connect to Starlink. An AI satellite is easier, not harder, than the Starlink V3 design, which is a marvel of engineering created by an epic team of humans. I am so proud of the SpaceX team. Well, okay, so Gavin Baker, who I mentioned yesterday, according to Grok, this is what Grok has to say about Gavin Baker. He's Dartmouth forged Fidelity Investments legend, 9.3 annualized alpha, he has six Lipper awards, Boston College Fund Manager of the Year, early bets on Roku, Uber, SpaceX, Cloudflare. He now is a CIO, contrarian tech hunter, consumer oracle, macro slayer, Twitter titan, future author, relentless and brilliant and unstoppable. Other than that, he's not very good at what he does. He has this to say last night about SpaceX and about the opportunity in space-based AI. Deeply amused, he says, by all the confident commentary that data centers in space do not work from a physics and engineering perspective. Elon operates two of the largest coherent GPU clusters in the world. SpaceX is responsible for over 90% of the mass to orbit, and SpaceX operates the largest satellite constellation in the solar system. More than 10 years later, no other company or country can consistently land and reuse orbital rockets. He means after the first launch of a reusable rocket by SpaceX. Elon has publicly stated that the lowest cost way to do AI compute will be with solar-powered satellites. Now, that'll only be after Starship is able to land both these stages of Starship. Maybe, just maybe, this is, he continues, Elon's pencil and paper analysis of the physics or the economics at play is superior to yours. There might have been more than just a pencil and paper analysis of the subject done by some of the best engineers in the world. Perhaps they have thought about the cooling solution. And maybe it's not, it has occurred to them that the galaxy brain accounts here, even after they look several minutes and carefully study the problem, they're still not getting it right. The CEO of Google also agrees. The CEO of Google also agrees, which I reported on, I believe, on Monday, that data centers in space will be normal within a decade. If you are not currently operating a large AI data center, a large satellite cluster, and have not landed a rocket, maybe be a little less quick to confidently assume that Elon and Google are both wrong on this topic, especially when there is working, albeit very small, data center in space today. I've been talking about that for weeks now. We really have to take that into consideration. StarCloud's orbital setup just successfully trained an LLM. Great name, by the way. All right. So, again, I'm just going to keep talking about Brian Wang. He wrote about this 2.5, 3 months ago. All right. If you really want to be up to date on what's happening with AI, buy the book. I mean, really? The value of your shares in Tesla just went up substantially, but don't expect the street to get it for a while. How big is Optimus? And some are just Optimus is massive, and yet some of the street are just beginning to give it any kind of credibility in terms of how they're valuing Tesla stock. But Elon is going to build chip fabs. This is going to be for Tesla. Tesla, under Elon's direction, is going to build chip fabs. This is going to be massive, and this will be an extremely profitable business. What is the optional value of that future revenue stream? So this would be like 4 years ago, I guess, when Elon first started talking about humanoids. And I immediately put value in Tesla for the humanoid future. Maybe you did too, but the street just now, okay? So now Elon is announcing chip fabs. I think those are going to come on faster, maybe just about the same. 3 to 4 or 5 years from now, we'll be having a lot of chips made, and that will be a huge value for Tesla. Elon is going to give shareholders a chance to buy shares in SpaceX next year pre-IPO. What do you suppose that is worth? You're now sitting on an option in SpaceX pre-IPO. If you're a major trader, or not trader, a major investor, if you've paid attention to IPOs at all in the past, you know that some people get this pre-IPO opportunity. And now you, if you own Tesla stock, are going to get that opportunity. That option has values. Now, there may not be an IPO, but Elon announced yesterday there will be an IPO. I think there's probably going to be an IPO. Sawyer Merritt did a poll. 76% of those who answered his poll say they will invest in SpaceX. I did a poll, and most say they will not divest more than 10% from Tesla to do so, with 42% saying no way they would divest anything. But 30% said that they would they would give Tesla a 25 to 50% haircut in order to buy SpaceX. So we don't know how that'll actually play out. But people are saying, oh, this could hurt Tesla stock for a week or 2 or 3 as people divest in order to be able to take advantage of that pre-IPO opportunity. TipRanks has this. Tesla continues to be one of Wall Street's most talked about stocks. While Wall Street analysts are divided, TipRanks AI analyst keeps an outperform rating with a 490 price target, significantly above the Wall Street analyst averaging 383. For context, TipRanks AI stock analysis delivers automated, data-driven evaluations of stocks, giving investors a clear and concise snapshot of a stock's potential. Moreover, TipRanks AI-driven ratings combines insights from multiple models, including OpenAI's GPT and Google's Gemini. They should probably get Grok involved there too, since Grok has just proven that it is the best trader out of all of the LLMs. We talked about that yesterday, I think, on the show with Jeff Lutz. Tesla stock earns a solid score of 76 out of 100 on the AI tool based on Gemini's 2.5 Pro model. It also assigns a price target of 490, implying an upside of 8.5% from current levels, and pretty much what I and others, including Brian Wang, are saying about where we'll be by the end of the year. Now, you understand that both Brian and I have said that when we get the safety rider out of the vehicle, if that turns out to be in January, well, then that's going to move our estimates up until January. But we think we go 550, 600 when that happens. This is Randy Kirk. You have two things I want you to do. I want you to hit subscribe, and I want you to place your order today before we run out of time for Christmas. I'll talk about that more in a minute. In the week ending December 6th, the advanced figure for seasonally adjusted initial claims was 236,000. Now, that was a big increase compared to last week, 44,000 up. But remember, last week was a record. People didn't really take, I don't think they really got it. That number last week, we had a number that low once in the last 3 decades. Once in 2022, I think it was. I don't remember for sure, but I think it was 2022. And then you have to go back like to 1980 something to see that a number that low again. Well, that last week number was raised by 1,000 from 191,000 to 192,000, gives us a 4-week moving average at 216,750. But the rate, every week I say 1.3, 1.3, 1.3, and it never changes. Do you know the advanced seasonally adjusted insured unemployment rate was 1.2%? What? It's down. The total number of continued weeks claimed for benefits in all programs was 1,731, a decrease of 92,000 from the previous week. Now that throws cold water on the idea that people can't find jobs. Anyway, we got our quarter-point discount yesterday from the Fed, so now all gloves are off. We're not gonna shade these numbers anymore. If the employment numbers are good, and when I say we, I mean we don't have any reason as a reporting public to shade those numbers at all. Reuters says the higher number this week, especially because it was pretty high, probably reflected difficulties in adjusting the data for seasonal fluctuations around this time of year, rather than any material change in labor market conditions. And of course, last week's numbers were record lows. So if you kind of look at the 2 weeks together, I think we should wait for a couple more weeks to really have some idea of where that is. However, what it is, it's not crazy out of line. That's what's important. From MarketWatch, David Zervos, who is the chief strategist at Jefferies, also said on CNBC that the tone of Jerome Powell's press conference was more dovish than hawkish. That's how I saw it. That's how Jeff Lutz saw it last night. That's how Brian Wang saw it. We are all in agreement. When the Fed's telling you that growth is probably coming from productivity, it's not coming from a job creation in actually kind of a semi-weak labor market, and there's no need for them to fight that, okay? It's just they don't need to fight that. So we're going to get those productivity increases. We're already seeing, according to Jerome Powell, we're already seeing the productivity increases, and he has 420 PhDs at his disposal to help him figure this out. Now, I will admit, the Fed is not great at making predictions about the future. But if you believe their predictions about next year, then it's going to be a fantastic year. Powell also noted in his press conference that official payroll numbers may be overstated by around 60,000 per month, meaning that he thinks we may end up, when we restate them, showing that we had job losses, that we had fewer jobs over the last few months, not increases. And how long have I been saying that on this channel? I'm expecting 20,000 to 40,000 at the most on the upside, and I expect some months to show decreases. Quote, this is really, to me, a very dovish forecast, a strong growth, listen to me, a strong growth dovish forecast, which is hard for people to process, except if you listen to this channel. I've been talking about it for a long time. All right, the trade deficit shrunk in September, really? And some headlines are calling this a surprise. You should see CNBC. They're like, oh my gosh. Because of the government shutdown, this is the September numbers, so it's kind of old information. But I don't think anybody at the Trump administration is surprised by this. Now, this is on top of yesterday's surprise data that the government's deficit was down 30% plus over the first 2 months of the new fiscal year. And you hardly heard a murmur. I mean, I didn't see one headline this morning. I mean, I didn't see people on CNBC talking about it. Let me know in the comments below, did you see people talking about the fact that the first 2 months of the Trump budget, remember, up till now, we've been dealing with the Biden budget. Starting October 1, this is Trump. He gets full 100% credit. This is his budget. And it's down over 30%. The deficit, I'm sorry, is down over 30% compared to last year. Now, on top of all that, you have a continuing 1% year-over-year increase in real earnings. And we have the bullish first quarter forecast coming in from many resources, including Powell. And maybe, just maybe, the folks are going to begin to feel it soon. We hope so. Now, Tom Lee chimes in. He thinks 2026 is going to be amazing, but he also sees a 5 in 6 chance. So what is that? That's like an 83% chance, I think, of a 5% rally into year end, 5% from here. And here are his 6 reasons. Number 1, the Federal Reserve rate cut. We just got that. Okay. Number 2, the end of quantitative tightening. We just got that, and we got quantitative easing instead, even though they didn't call it that. Lee sees similar upside potential. Historically, the 2019 QT end sparked a 17% S&P rally in 3 weeks. Lee sees a similar upside potential here. A healthy U.S. economy with growth potential, despite mixed signals. The ISM below 50 indicating contraction, but the ISM below 50 is on manufacturing, which is only about 30% of the economy. He says the GDP remains robust, over 3%. This supports consumer spending and earnings growth without overheating. He says the next one is the end of the government shutdown, and so that means data is going to start coming in. We'll see so much data next week. And then investors are offside and oversold. November's 5% S&P drop led to a de-risking. We saw that with the VIX, and fund managers threw in the towel. This created underweight positions, and this sets up performance chasing. Number 6, performance chasing and a rebound as sentiment flips. Seasonal tailwinds. December ranks as the 3rd best month historically for the S&P. And after a flat down November, median gains typically are 3.5% due to the Santa Claus effect. So there's all of Tom Lee's thinking in a nutshell. Now, Trump is back to 47% after touching down, I think, what was the low, by 73%, back all the way to 47%, according to the Rasmussen poll. Trueflation, now this is the only bad news I have for the entire day. Trueflation has bounced up a little bit here. Well, not just a little bit, a lot, up to 2.66% in the overnights, with goods at 2.81 again. Now, goods have gone all the way down to like 2.2, now back up to 2.81. I haven't had a chance to dig into the details. I will probably do that before we have our meeting tomorrow. The core is at 2.55, which is up. The services 2.74, which I think is the same as yesterday. And the PCE now is up a little bit, but still extremely good at 2.34. Well, with all that good news and only a little bit of bad news, and nobody pays any attention to trueflation apparently, so they're not going to be paying attention to that. What are the markets saying? I think they're responding mostly to Oracle right now, but let's take a look and see where we are. All right, so we got Tesla down 1.4%, but bouncing back right now, heading up and to the right, but at 445.12. It's a fine number. Plenty of time to get to all-time highs or 500 by the end of the year. The Dow is up 0.91, which is not surprising. The Fed rate cut is better for the Dow type stocks than it is for the other stocks. I mean, it's good for all of them, but it's better for the Dow. So you would see rotation probably into the Dow a little bit. NASDAQ is down 0.65, S&P down 0.15. All of these are now recovering. So all of them are up and to the right at this point. So I think this is going to be a good day by the end of the day. the Oracle thing, I don't think is going to be the overwhelming reason for decisions later in the day as people start to digest all the stuff I just told you. So we've got the Magnificent Seven all down except for Microsoft. NVIDIA, not surprisingly, because of Oracle down 3.11. So that is a big a drag on the stock market, especially on the NASDAQ and the S&P. You got the VIX is back up to 15.99. That is still pretty darn bullish. And you got the Cathie Woods completely mixed, but they were down earlier. So they are also, you can see every one of them is trending up at this point. So I really am thinking it's going to be a good day. Now let's take a look at, my number one thing that I care about, 5 basis points. All right, 5, but it was more earlier. So I'm also expecting this. Actually, right now it's 4.8 basis points, but we were down to 4.116 earlier at the opening. We were just right around 4.1. So this is, way closer to what I was hoping for yesterday. But I think we'll continue to see this drift down. Do we get a 3 handle before the end of the year? I don't know. I'm not ready to make that call. Oil down a little bit more, down $1.10 at $57.36. There's just way too much oil out there. Huge, huge. I gave you a detailed report on that yesterday morning. If you didn't hear that, you can go back and check that out. You got natural gas down another 5.46%, $4.34. This makes me very happy. This means we're not going to have massive utility bill increases. We just had the crazy spike for about a week or 10 days. That's not going to throw things off. I saw Schumer this morning saying energy prices aren't down. Look at natural gas. Oh, whoops. You better look again, Chuck. Gold is up $46 this morning, 4,271, 4,272. Anyway, you're going to be wondering whether my 4,400 is going to hold. It's going to hold. All right. Silver up 3.75. Yesterday I said there's got to be a limit. When there's a downside thing, they call it capitulation, right? There's also an upside thing. I don't know what it's called. Overexuberance, maybe. So I do think that, by the way, the Dow is at a record this morning. So that increase is a record now for the Dow, all-time high. Silver, also a record every day. But I think the overexuberance is going to come to an end. I just don't know where. We follow silver every day. We report on it twice a day. But I don't think I can call the top. All I can say is it's not investment advice. I would not be investing in silver at these levels. Copper up 2.17, $5.47. The dollar mixed. Bitcoin down 3,114. Tom Lee, I don't think you're going to get your number by the end of the year. We're at 90,191. Ethereum down 6% this morning. Now, it's been really up strongly, so maybe it's not quite that surprising that it has taken a pretty good dip right now. Okay, that's what I've got for you, except to say the Brian Wang video last night. Okay, I don't know how to say it strongly enough. Yeah, a bunch of you already watched it. It's got really decent numbers for my channel. But if you didn't watch it yet, you got to go back and watch it. Now, the Jeff Lutz video, which even fewer of you watched, it was really, really good also. I mean, these were 2 back-to-back very strong videos, very important videos. You probably can't find anything anywhere. I mean, seriously, anywhere. I'm bragging, but I'm bragging about these guys. I'm not sure that you can find an hour and 15 minutes of video anywhere on the internet right now that is more concisely giving you what's going on with regard to this AI thing, the AI in space thing, the SpaceX thing, all of this. These 2 guys, they're just geniuses in this area, and we're just fortunate to have them on our channel. They should be on CNBC. I should probably be on CNBC. Well, all right. They should be on CNBC. So, all right. What else? Yeah. Okay. $25 for one. More orders yesterday. $25 for one. $45 for two, 65 for three, 85 for four. Anyway, five is 200, and it doesn't matter how many over five you buy. It's $20 a piece from number one. So just $20 times whatever the number is. You send the money to paypal.me/Randy Kirk. You can look down below in the information, and you can see all that information in case you didn't have time to write it down. You should buy the book. You should buy the book. All that information is down below. If you want to buy the Audible or the audio type book, and you're outside the country, the information on how to do that is also down there. It's $15. You send that to the same address, paypal.me/Randy Kirk. So those are things that you need to do. I know that's way too many things to remember, but all the information is down below, and the card is right there. It's probably not there anymore, but for going back and watching Brian, I'll put the Jeff Lutz card up also. So, because I mean, seriously, they should have gotten 50, 60, 70,000 views each, but my channel's too small. But it's getting bigger. I don't know. Did I tell you that I hired a consultant to help the channel grow? Yeah. So we're going to grow, but I need your help. So don't forget to subscribe. That's the number one way you can help. Oh, sure. You could always join Patreon. That'd be great. Okay. Have I left anything out? Oh, later on today, as far as I know, everything, well, pretty sure, CERN Basher later tonight, and then Bradford Ferguson with his normal genius analysis coming up around probably around 4 o'clock. All right, that's all I got. It's time for me to go. It's been great talking to you.